The Stashes and Glasses podcast is back in your life. Erik Fontanez here with Jay Watts as per the usual on Sundays. What's up, Justin?
What's up, Frank Sinatra? I like it.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
like,
well,
did you suddenly rename me?
yeah. May I be frank with you? It's a new name.
May I be frank with you?
Hey,
Um, yeah, another evening of wonderful basketball being played in the National Basketball Associates.
yeah,
Um, yeah, dude. Kyrie Irving and the other guy, Luka
yeah,
Jokovic, or whatever his name is. Kidding. Luka Doncic. Um, they know how to close out a game. Really beautiful basketball down at the end there. I was hoping that Minnesota would bring back that dog that they had in the second round,
Mm.
but it didn't seem like they were capable. What was your take on it?
Oh, geez, heartbreak. I had a realization watching this game. Was
What's
like,
that?
oh, it everything was on display now. Moving forward, I feel like I was wrong. I picked Mini. I thought beating the champs, you beat them on their home floor. There's so much momentum to ride from that, and I'm thinking like from a coach's perspective, if you're like, hey, we got to build. The sky is the limit. It's right there. Stay hungry. We're right there. And I thought Ant, because those first 8 games he had in the playoffs, the guy was outstanding. And I thought alone, maybe his energy, his personality, that these dudes would follow. But it went back to my old takes on Mini for the last 3 or 4 years, almost since like Jimmy Butler times where you're like, oh, they're in the playoffs, they're supposed to be good, and you're like, even moving forward, oh, they're in the playoffs, and you're like, nah, there's no dogs. Even though Ant's the dog, I was wrong. He couldn't lead them, and he needs somebody else, man. They gotta put free shipping on Cat, and I say move him. Get Ant a number two who's a dog, and then you're gonna hit because they have the core pieces. Reed, McDaniel's, Connolly, Ant, and then you add a number two who's pick any other number two in the league, and you plug them in there, dude. Even if you had a guy like Sabonis, imagine if Sabonis, not that he's
Oh,
like some
jeez.
ultimate stellar out of the box, he's steady as shit. Imagine that type of dude there. That's a different guy that Ant's going to war with. And Luca and Kyrie were surgical. They were Denzel in training day. I mean, these dudes, the way that they're operating their offense, it's surgical. And they're walking in there telling Yogurt. Just imagine the meme right now with Doncic and Luca coming in just with the little bobbleheads, and they're like, hey guys, it's over. The surgeons are here, you know?
Yeah,
And it's crazy. It's crazy. At this game, I feel really put that on full display.
yeah. I felt like Dallas was cruising pretty well all the way through the third quarter, and then, Minnesota started to make a little bit of a comeback and even tied the game on the shoulders
And
of
yeah,
Ant Edwards
hmm
throwing it down, by the
flight
way. Did you
school,
see that dunk?
dude.
Oh my God.
He needs his own airlines. That should be one of his logos or something that they take off with because he literally takes off like he's in an airplane on people,
Another game, another poster.
dude.
And that's always fun to watch. And that run was basically mostly him.
Yeah,
There was that dunk. He had a couple of fallaways. He had that
yeah,
one pretty bank off the backboard from
yeah.
near the right elbow.
Uh,
Um, that was all beautiful. But then Dallas ultimately pulls out in the end. And sorry,
what what
my,
happened?
my, my brain's in
Intrusive
the
thoughts.
gutter.
Intrusive thoughts.
I said pulls out in the end, and
Oh,
my
pause.
brain just my brain just went into the gutter. I'm
Straight
sorry.
Cameron. You should have. You just got to say pause. He's already put that in. Pause.
Time out. Erik's being a pervert again. Anyway, Dallas Dallas came out.
Yeah. They did whatever the hell they wanted to, if that's the acronym at the end of here.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Dallas won the professional basketball game. There you go.
They
That's
did.
what I've been trying to say.
And man, I mean, and Cat 0 for 7 from deep. I have a bone
Uh,
to pick with him and with the other guy in the other series on the Pacers about being that tall and overly relying on your jumper when it's not hitting
mm,
and you have smaller dudes on you. I saw Cat did a couple, and I mean, granted, I love the shot too, where it's like the push step jab step fade away. But like there's bro, you're 7 foot. You got to get down and get a bucket. This is the playoffs. And when you're not hitting from outside, you got to get in there and get a bucket. And they're not going to win with when it's just one. At least, I mean, Ant hasn't been playing great. Not that he did the first 2 rounds, but like at least the guy. I mean, I wouldn't put this on him. They need a number two, man. They need a number two who's. It would be interesting to see how they move forward because they're right there. But I don't.
yeah.
Those dudes are too soft, man.
Yeah, Cat was actually let me fact check you real quick. He
What
was
happened?
actually 0 for 8 from downtown
Oh,
tonight.
even there I go, giving them slack again. I should have learned my lesson. Cat, there's no. We need a dog, not a cat, or a big
Wow.
cat, a jungle cat. I need a jungle cat. Yeah, that's dude. By all
Not a
means,
house cat.
no, I don't need the house cat who's been chilling and you see little flashes because you see flashes and you're like, dude, cat, your potential should be, But again, it's not having that kill them all, let God sort them out kind of thing. Jada Kiss mentality. He don't have that.
Yeah.
And
He was also overall 5 of 18 from the field tonight.
dude, that's
It's
not and can he that's not gonna do it. So
yeah.
the writing's on the
He's a
wall with this one, guys. The GM needs to start putting his really starting to make some decisions moving forward.
Yeah, he's had one good game in the last 5. So
Your two
5 of
can't do
18,
that.
5 of 18 tonight, 4 of
That-
16 in game 2, 6 of 20 in game 1.
What are these
Um
numbers? Dude, that's your number two. You're
that's your
not
number
and it's
2.
the conference finals. We're not winning. You're not moving forward with that. I
He's
don't know. I
he's
think
made he's made 3 threes the entire series.
how
2
many
for
has he
9
shot
game
total?
1, 2
Okay,
for
okay.
9 game 1, 1 for 5 game 2, 0
What
for 8 game 3.
was that? 22?
22, 3 of 22. Yeah. And I was trying to think is because
He's the
I
best
I
shooting big man. He told us that.
he's the best shooting big man. 3-point
Bro.
contest winner last year. Um
Wow.
my thing is this. Like a lot of players could be a good set shooter or a good spot up shooter.
Yeah.
Can he score off the dribble? And I don't have the stats to back it up right now. I didn't look them up, but Cat's form doesn't strike me as one that's capable of scoring off like from 25 feet at least, scoring off the dribble at high efficiency. I realized that he was a pretty good 3-point shooter up through last series,
Yeah.
but I just the way that he keeps depending on the three ball makes me really uncomfortable. About
Oh,
as
yeah.
uncomfortable as Rudy Gobert guarding a guard like he's done 50 times this series, it
Yeah.
seems
And
like.
that's another side bone pick is like being defensive player of the year and you can't guard the perimeter. I think we need to change the goalpost where it's not just blocks or deflections down low, but which dude can do that and can guard on the perimeter. I have a big man, but anyways, back to this. We'll go back to that later.
Okay, we'll touch
But
on Gobert.
yeah, but that like I don't know, man. What you can't that many threes is where it's like obviously until you get your flow back, you have to do something else. And he is, like you said, he is a catch and shoot guy. I've seen him sometimes do the one jab step back type thing, not where
Mhm.
he's like dribbling and creating for sure, but he's getting these looks too that they're kicking it out to him and they're standstill threes. He's not like we're not telling you him to get tough threes. Like you're the best shooting big man, you should hit these, and he's not. And I don't know, man. You can't. It all comes down to production. This is the time of year where you got to produce, or it really doesn't matter. And they say stars win in this league, and you see now that it's like sometimes again. that coach shit where you're like, nah, man, the team as a team, we could, fuck, you guys could do this. You could be that team, but unfortunately, those are the one in every decade you get a team like that that wins a chip, and I mean, you still have a superstar, but your superstar's got to show up. And Dallas is like the way that those two are maneuvering. They're like
Oh,
what
yeah.
are those guys at the circus? The high beams where they're twirling and flying back this way. Like that's Luka and Kyrie, and the
The
rest of the guys are
acrobatic.
flying in the background, catching alley oops and hitting corner threes. And you're like, yo, they because remember last year was kind of question marks. People was like, I don't know, that's not gonna work. Luka's like, I'm not having fun anymore. And now he's like, now that they've had time, they've really, I mean, they've convinced me, man. They look great, and
They do
everybody's
look
bought
great.
in.
Yes, especially Kyrie. Like that.
Yeah,
That's the
you
one
see his,
guy that I.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's the one guy where I had the biggest question marks with him going to Dallas way back when.
yeah,
I think it was 2 years ago at this point. Um, he gave up on every team he played for. Cleveland, Boston, uh, the former New
Brooklyn,
Jersey basketball team. Yeah, I still
yeah,
call him Jersey. He gave up on those teams. There was always some sort of problem for Kyrie.
yeah.
And then he came to Dallas, and I'm like, now he's dealing with an alpha and Luca, and I know, like, I was worried that was not going to work out because, I mean, this is the
Dude,
same guy who didn't want to play second fiddle to LeBron, uh, even after winning a chip in Cleveland.
yeah,
So he gets to Dallas, and here we are, and we're talking about them potentially going to the NBA Finals with the 3-0 lead in the
yeah.
Western Conference Final,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's great to see. It's great that we're finally talking about Kyrie Irving in a way that's not, oh man, what did he do this time? Or, oh man,
yeah,
what did he say this time? Or
yeah.
all of that shit, all of that off the court shit that he got, put him in
Left.
hot water
Yeah,
over the last few years. Like, I was so tired of that. I
yeah,
was so tired of it to the point where I was just like, I don't know why any team would pick this dude up anymore, as good
yeah,
as he is.
yeah.
Like, does a team really want to deal with the headache that is Kyrie Irving? He fits in Dallas.
Dude,
He
yeah,
fits.
he
He
does more than
bought
fit.
in. He
Yeah,
was absolutely like, hey, this is Luca's team. Let Luca do his thing. And when Luca needs to take some time off, then I'll do my thing. And of course, his thing is just like incredible and one of the
dude,
best things you could see in the NBA. So
adequate.
it's working. And now they're up 3-0
Yeah.
against a team that, like, you and I both like were looking at and saying, man, this young Minnesota team, they've got that dog, and
No
it's
reason.
likely they're going to get through Dallas and get to the NBA Finals. And
Yeah,
then Luca and Kyrie and all them boys, they just said, fuck that.
dude. Well, they definitely said fuck that. It's a testament to Kyrie, like how much, like as a person, I feel the last 2, 3 years, like he's grown. It's crazy to
Mm-hmm.
see, like you're describing, actually seeing this dude's growth, and not enough of that is put back out on some of these other platforms. And everybody always wants to beat him down when it's time to beat down, but like this dude does deserve so much credit for, like, first, just a person, because he seems like he's a happier dude. He seems like he's at peace with like
Yeah.
how he deals with the media. And I mean, dude, for this dude, like his whole life, it's hard to trust the media when people are coming at you six sides. What is it? Six
Oh,
ways from
yeah.
Sunday. Like, I understand why he has that, and that goes into what we were talking about before about the media landscape changing. And that's one reason why. But like, you see his manifestation, like it's happening, and to see him now, where he's not the bitter old man, where he's like, you know what, we can sit here and be real fucking unstoppable. And I mean, the way that they are, I feel like in the first half, Kyrie's job is his motive is, let me get other players, let me get guys some dunks, let me get them going, and scoring obviously the secondary. I think Luka's the one who's, you were obviously always going to facilitate and go through him. He's looking to score. Then when that second half comes, you see Kyrie sometimes he picks his poison now, where he's taking his darts and he's shooting, and he's becoming the unstoppable one, you know. And
Yeah.
then it's, how do I don't know. It's hard to be able to stop what is going on, but wow, to see how they're, and then actually, sorry, I kind of lost train of thought. But the
No
fourth
worries.
quarter, yeah, it was, got my son over here FaceTiming when I tell him leave me alone. Go. Uh, Same thing you were just talking about. Hey, dad.
Hey, Dad.
Like, dude, not right now, man. Come on. Um, but then like that last 5 minutes, it's like, hey, we're gonna run through Luca, but then Luca's also intent. I mean, that dude's always ready to go. And you see Kyrie today, where I swear Kyrie looked like he was a left-handed, natural born left-handed player today. Some of the
Oh,
shit that he
dude.
was like, this is
So
ridiculous, guy.
pretty.
Like, just
So pretty. So
yeah,
pretty.
man, to see it's great. Like the whole thing of again, as he gets older, is like the better version, and you're like, this is it's cool. 'Cause you want to have this type of mentality, Kyrie, when he was younger. Imagine what he would have done to the league having the better. But nobody's that's what the journey's about, right? Nobody knows that shit when you're there. And now that he's
Yeah.
here, it's good to see him like obviously physically still on top of his game. The dude is the best finisher and dribbler in the
Yeah.
league. And then he's with Luca, and they seem to
Yeah.
unlock Voltron. I don't know what is going on, but
Yeah.
they
One's
look
the
like
heart, one's the head.
yeah,
Voltron coming to beat the shit out of everybody. And we've like, and I've been guilty of this too. We've put a lot on Kyrie, like as a professional.
yeah,
We always expect these guys to say the right thing or do the right thing and act a certain way because they're professionals. And fact
yeah,
of the matter is, when these guys are in this league, they're young, you know,
yeah,
and we were
yeah.
young once. And how
Dude,
stupid were we when we were young?
yeah, and I didn't have
Pretty
any
damn stupid.
responsibilities like that. No responsibilities of
None.
being having that kind of money, that kind of eyeballs on me. Thank God, man. I was being a
Yeah,
walking dumbass.
I would have been the absolute worst. Yeah, I'd been out of the league just for the stupidity I get in. I
It
wouldn't
would
even
have
get
been
into legal
flawless.
shit. Like it was just be like Eric's just dumb.
He's having the time of his life.
So yeah, and so like we tend to forget that. Like these guys
Yeah,
are really young and they don't have the life experience yet to really be able to be the mature one. And I think
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why we hype up, or not hype up, that's the wrong word, but one of the reasons I think we enjoy Anthony Edwards so much is because he has a level of maturity in game
yeah,
that that is just marvelous. Like guys that have been in the league for a minute and are on the later side of their 20s typically reach this point. He's only 22, 23 years old and
yeah,
he's getting there. So like when we see that kind of thing, we're like, whoa, that's awesome. And
yeah,
even then, we tend to forget like these guys are really young. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to say the wrong
yeah,
things because they don't know. They just don't know. Like we're supposed to say, like, they're supposed to have this common sense. Like, are they really supposed to have that common sense?
yeah.
Because
No,
it's not common to them a lot of the time. So they don't have
yeah.
the sense to really put it together.
And the expectations are crazy.
Oh
And
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is the expectations
yeah,
are so astronomical from the perspectives of media and people like us and fans
yeah,
and things like that that we tend to poo poo on them
yeah,
as a result. But
yeah,
Kyrie, and to your point, Kyrie over the last 2-3 years has really shown a maturity that I think has allowed him to just focus on basketball.
yeah,
Like the only story with Kyrie now is
yeah,
basketball. And
yeah.
man, what kind of basketball that
Oh
guy
my
is
God.
playing, like it's just
Yeah.
amazing.
We got to
You
thank
were
the
talking
basketball.
about, yeah, you talked about how like it looks like he's naturally left-handed. It's incredible, dude. It's
Yeah,
incredible the things that he's doing.
yeah,
I
he
enjoy
could
watching
be.
him.
Yeah. And then one thing with the young guys too, like I feel like there should be different developmental stages. Like, the prefrontal doesn't really sew up to you like 24. So it's like that's a significant when you look like developmentally, that's a significant thing, is like why they say you're still a kid when you're 21, 22, 23, because
Hmm.
your brain hasn't that part hasn't formed yet. And then once you
Yeah,
get there, then once you hit to that spot, then you still have to add on years of that adult experience to really like sink in and make you, a man, a woman, whatever. But yeah,
a
to
mature
see
adult.
it's yeah, and it's cool to see somebody like Kyrie, who's obviously it's guilty for us because now, like you said, we get to watch this incredible game, and you're like, oh, and this is awesome. I can watch this every night. I need to get Dallas on fucking League Pass just
Oh
to
yeah.
like, you know, and that's
Dallas
the part you miss
Dallas
because
was
not a lot of guys.
Dallas was my go-to league pass team this year.
Oh
They
man,
were like I think anytime Luca and Dallas played on TNT or ESPN, that was like appointment viewing. And if they
yeah.
were on League Pass and they were playing somebody worth a shit, like I was definitely saying, "Oh yeah, the Dallas game is on. I'm gonna watch that."
Dude, League Pass.
Yeah, they're yeah, dude. Get on League Pass if you ain't.
Dude, there
I
was a
mean,
time in
next
my
year.
life when I had League Pass and I didn't do a goddamn thing. You watch the East Coast game at 3:30, 4 o'clock. If I came home from work, I'm watching that. I'm listening to the commercials of a Milwaukee Bucks local car dealership, loving life, and still always comparing it to like, but dude, we had Chick Hearn, so it's just not the same. It's just not the same. But these guys are great. They're doing their job. They're doing as best as they can. But that was awesome because you were literally watching. And then, of course, West Coast time comes on. I mean, you could go from 4 in the afternoon till 10:30, 11 at night watching
Oh
basketball.
yeah. You're
And
locked in for
yeah,
6, 7 hours in that time
yeah,
frame.
my wife wasn't co-signing for that kind of stuff. I had to put that somewhere.
Well,
Yeah,
now it might be a business write-off.
this is very true.
I mean,
Very
that's
true.
how I sold it
Yeah.
to my wife anyway.
Hope you're
Oh,
listening, honey.
Joe, he
Right.
really needs league pass. We've
Think
got,
about it.
notes to take. We've got analysis
Definitely.
to do
I need to be on the pulse of the league. That's me on the pulse right here.
right there.
Right
Right
there.
there. So Dallas is looking like they're going to take this.
Yeah.
And Minnesota, as much as we thought they were the team to beat in the West, Dallas has really shown through.
Yeah.
Um, which, by the way, let me just dust off
Oh,
my shoulder a little bit.
oh,
I
uh-oh.
picked Dallas for their. I think I picked Dallas. Did I pick Dallas? I think I
So you
picked
changed
Dallas.
it and went back to OKC, didn't you, when we did our revisit show?
The repredictions is
Yeah.
2 weeks old now.
Oh, yo, no, my reproduction
Everybody
reproduction.
forgot. Everybody forgot.
Well, I hope good. I hope they forgot mine too, because they're both,
No, I
yeah,
remember your predictions because your prediction was Minnesota
yeah, big old letdown. And
and
now
your
I'm the Celtics.
prediction was Indiana.
Yeah, dude. Again, I had hope. I had so much
You
hope.
did.
There was a lot that could have been done. Um, but again, these dudes after, I mean, we want to talk about that series. They fumbled game one. Uh, could have almost stole game three. Now you're already done. I mean, it's Undertaker time. Put out the music, lay down. They're finito. But I was again going off of that like what I've seen from them, the early season, what they were capable of if they just kind of played free and that pushed the pace and kept kind of plugging away, that they could make some damage. But after losing game one the way they did, that was a nice little body blow. And then obviously they lose game two, and now you're down 0-2. It's a much different mountain looking up at. It's not a little hill like that shit is Everest now, especially against the
Yeah.
Celtics. So
And
they're
then
toast.
Tyrese Halliburton goes down. So
Yeah,
that pretty much
yeah,
eliminates
yeah,
Indiana's hopes of becoming the Eastern Conference champions.
yeah.
Which takes me to my next point about Dallas, which we've talked about at length. How easy of a playoff push has Boston had in this year in comparison to other years?
Well, everybody's been hurt, right? Everybody they
Yeah.
played, somebody was hurt. Um,
Yeah.
I mean,
Miami had
yeah, no
Jimmy go
Butler,
down. They had no Butler. Um
second round with,
Cleveland had Mitchell go down.
and the
Third
other
round.
their center too
Yeah.
was out, and then
Yeah.
now,
And then
and even yeah, even Halliburton at 100%, that was still they would have had to play pretty high, like pretty close to their full potential to beat the Celtics. Um, but yeah, them it's for them it's nothing. So they still kind of haven't really been tested still, but they look good. I mean, they got all their shit running together. It's just they're getting to the finals. It's just if they can overcome finally that hump, and obviously they're going to be playing the Dallas team now, and that's going to be
so,
interesting series.
so we're
That's
calling it now though, right?
yeah, it's going to be Dallas and Boston.
It's locked. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dallas
and
and
I think
Boston
that
for sure.
yeah, and That's gonna be interest. That's gonna be a good finals. That's gonna be
It
a
will be.
good finals
It will
because
be. I'm
Boston's. I
gonna.
mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just because I'm not like I sit there and I try to engage with the Boston Indiana series, and I just can't. Like
Yeah.
I'm just not interested. I like Miles Turner, that which says something because I hate the Pacers, but I like Miles Turner either because he's a 7 footer who could spread the floor and he makes great cuts to the basket and throws it down from 10 feet,
Yeah.
or the fact that he's a big Star Wars nerd and he builds Legos and things
That's
like
what it
that.
is. That's what
Yeah,
it
it's
is. 'Cause he
definitely
shoots
that.
too many goddamn threes and he's not hitting. And he's 7 foot. And even Charles Barkley's ass was like, bro, you're 7 foot. You got a 6'8" dude on you. Go get a bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the play. We gotta get a bucket. And again, living and dying by the three. I'm a shooter. I love shooting. I'll live and die with that bitch all day. But when I'm playing against a dude who's 6 foot, whatever, 6'1" or lower,
Hmm.
dude, I'm
Yeah.
right to the paint. I don't give a shit. I don't need to show, do something fancy to get my fuck no. I just played pickup last on Friday. Had us both times. Had a dude. One guy was almost my height, but the fadeaway. But then I had a little dude. I'm like, no mercy, man. I don't care. I'm trying to win. I need to get my workout on. I need to stay on the floor one more time so I can really sweat. For my old ass, bam, posted his ass up, and that's it. And that's what we need Miles Turner to do. So I know you got that connection, and he does big old fucking Legos and shit, and he's like a engineer builder guy, and he's passed all these prerequisites in the Lego world, okay? And Star Wars dudes. I'm right here. How do you do one of your things? Walking. I don't know how they say hi and bye to each other, but he needs to. One of them need to come down, okay? Come down on one of them little jets to Miles Turner and go, bro. You and Cat get big. Time to get
Okay.
big.
Let me first of all,
My
I don't
goodness.
know like what I don't know what you think Star Wars people say to each other, but there's no
There's
actual saying
there's a
other
lot of
than like
galaxies, right? Different languages.
yeah, but they
That's
all
why I'm confused.
essentially speak basic. Don't get me
Whoa,
started on
that's what it's called?
basic.
Basic Star Wars.
No,
Tell
like
me
just
something to
the
basic Star Wars.
language,
Tell
the
the audience
language
something to basic Star Wars.
nerf herder. You're a
A
scruffy
Nerf,
looking nerf herder.
a Nerf herder. This is like I could just see like this little man on the side of a mountain gathering Nerf bullets because he's a Nerf herder. What a Nerf herder. Oh man. Well, you and Miles, you guys need to put him on the pod. I'm gonna pop in and be like, "Hey, hold on, we got a visitor coming in. Like it's Catfish. It's gonna be me. Yo, get big, son. I'm out. All right.
What's that? That would be your 2 cents on that interview.
Yeah, because I'll wait till you guys were done with this that episode thingy, and then I'd hop back in.
Well, hold on. You made a mention of something real quick to get back to basketball.
Yeah.
Uh, you were saying like Cat, Miles Turner shoots too many threes. But let me just break it down to you.
No.
He only shot three last game, four the one before, four the one before that, three the one before that, and three the one before that. In
How many did he
comparison,
make? What's his percentage?
he was 0 for 3 in the last game.
All
Two for
right.
four, 2 for 4 in the game before that, 3 for 4 in the game before that, 2 for 3 in the game before that, and 1 for 3 in the game before that.
My
So
thing
he's
is,
actually hitting at a
yeah,
good
he's not
clip.
shooting a bad percentage. My thing is like when you have that mismatch or that time in the game that comes up is about being disciplined. It's like, yeah, I could shoot this three right now. Technically, this is one of my again analytics. Analytics guys like, yeah, fucking shoot that. But then I'm like, all right, where's the guy of like in the moment guy, coach, who needs to be like, yo, we're in the moment, bro. We need a bucket right now. You got a little dude who came over on the switch. Go get me two real quick. That's my
Yeah.
whole thing. That sometimes it bothers me. Like, yeah, his percentage is not terrible, but watching the game, I'm like, you had this wing came out on you, and it was like you had the whole right side cleared out. Back down, go to the basket, cause a double. I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's when to
I
gauge, when to
think
shoot in, when not.
I think that happens less. And if we're going off the last 5 games, then
Yeah, yeah,
then it's
yeah.
true. I think that happens less with Turner than it does Cat.
Oh yeah.
Cat, I
Oh no,
feel
yeah.
like
Cat has no. Yeah, Cat's
he's
the
just
one who's like,
always looking for the three.
yeah, he's the kid who needs the GPS at the daycare. So he's the one who's going a little bit too far. Put the GPS on Cat. He's shooting wild again. Miles
He's
is fine. He stays within the gate. You're right.
Cat's 35 feet away.
You're like, oh my god, it's buzzing
Somebody
again. It's like
wrangle him in.
it's his little wristband from the Department of Probation. I'm just kidding. No, because he has his little GPS on him. I was like, it's like he has his little thing on his
I
ankle.
was I was thinking he needs to wear one of those backpacks that has a leash at the end of them
Oh
so you
no.
can pull them back in like they do with kids. Every time somebody puts that on some kids, I'm just like, what are y'all doing, man? They're not
Yeah, that's bad.
dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
And then he's never gonna
Uh,
learn how to like maneuver in the world because they're so used to being controlled. That's another story.
the
Yeah.
backpacks,
Free the children, man. Jeez.
freedom. But yeah, Cat shoots too many threes and from too far away.
Yeah. And I mean,
And that's one of the things I don't get about this league too, is that you got guys. All right, there are guys who are solid 3-point shooters. We've probably had more 40% 3-point shooters in the league now than we ever have before. So guys are
yeah.
getting really good at the deep ball. Get it?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But tell me, why are they shooting from 10 feet behind the line? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me when a higher percentage shot is right
Yeah.
there with your toes an inch away from the line. Like,
Yeah.
are you scared that you're going to step on the line and it's going to be two? Like, it's a higher percentage shot. Why are you shooting from near half court? Like,
Yeah.
that's
I
so
think you have,
stupid.
yeah, gotta be a certain guy to shoot from the volleyball line, so to speak, right? Like
Aha, the volleyball line. Somebody's
that,
grown up in the gym.
yeah, that line, you're like, you got to be a shooter to shoot there. I get sometimes if you're like, oh, you were a step behind the line because just the way you were standing. But yeah, there's a
Hmm.
lot of guys, and that's probably ego. Is just to be like, I could
Pure
shoot,
ego.
especially the big dudes. I could shoot from there. Watch this, fucking
Yeah,
little guard. I can do it. And then they fall into the trap. Like as a defender, you're like, yeah, shoot that. Go ahead, fucking big guy. Just go further away. I'll take it
yeah.
all day. You know.
And at this point, like, I'm all for them adding a 4-point line.
Speak
Like, if
for yourself.
guys are legitimately going to shoot from that distance,
Yeah.
because right now, like, 25 feet and 35 feet is worth the same amount.
Yeah.
But if 25 feet is three and 35 feet is four, you may approach the game a little differently.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what became a 2-possession game is now a 1-possession game.
technically. But how do you set up plays where you're like, that would be crazy to see too, where you're setting up plays where you're launching from half court volleyball line area. Like that's where, you know what I mean? Because you only have like, hey, there's a whatever, we need the four
Listen,
point play, and there's
I
a second left.
I have not broken down a play that would support the 4-point line. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying is that you have evidence to show guys are shooting from a ridiculous distance
yeah,
for no reason. Why not give them some incentive?
yeah. I
You know
say
what
you
I mean?
started too where so you can't hit them in the corners. I wouldn't. It'd have to be so far out that you wouldn't be able to. Corner threes wouldn't count. It'd have to be like a behind, you know.
Well,
So
yeah,
10,
the corners are still going to be worth three because that's
yeah, yeah.
still only
So it would be
22
like
feet away.
starting, like you said, what 20, 25, or from 25
Yeah,
to
because the NBA 3-point
35.
line, what is it, like 23.9 or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's close to 24 feet.
yeah,
So when you got guys spotting up from 30 feet, like, that's a good amount of distance behind the 3-point line for no reason at all other than ego. Why not make it so that it changes the momentum of the game from what was a two play game to a 1-play game, a single possession.
which would
Like,
be
that's going to make a huge difference.
yeah 23-9 center of the basket. Wow. Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you start that at even if you and there could even be a an in between space of maybe the end of the 3-point line, which is 23-9, and then there is that little air window space where it starts behind that, or would you just start it?
Um,
Yeah, there would have to be, right?
yeah, I
Can't
just
be.
think like there would be a so I'm thinking the 4-point line is just an archway from sideline to sideline.
Okay.
Like, you could
Yeah.
shoot, and that'll make it that'll
It's
make it
sweat.
interesting too, I think, because like if a guy is shooting from like the far right or far left, he has the like there's some likelihood there that he may step out of bounds trying to do a step back, trying to get a
Oh yeah.
4 point play, and that would be like a costly turnover. Do you see how much drama this creates? Like that's
Yeah.
that's
We're over
why I'm
here
like, why not
got
throw in
plays
the
written up, thinking about different
yeah.
strategies.
Yeah. By the way,
That would
the
be kind of
the
cool though.
NBA the NBA 3 point line isn't 23.9. It's 23 feet and 9 inches.
Nine
So I
inches, yeah.
misspoke there. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, like why not make it 27, 28 feet, you know?
Yeah. Have a nice little curve back there.
Yeah.
Then you actually
Yeah.
have to guard every or be
Every
conscious and aware of every end of quarter, every anything. These dudes are throwing up half court, full court shots just at the end
yeah.
where usually you're like, oh, it's a second left. Wee, nice try. But then
Yeah.
dude
And,
scores.
and you know what else? Like this may actually help the old school game that you and I miss so much because you have guys standing around the 4 point line now, probably two at minimum. And that spreads the floor so much that you now have enough room for a big man to post up anywhere between 5 to 15 feet.
Yeah, you could.
Like
You have the other
that
guy
that
you think you're going for, but yeah, but you got to be
that could
down by.
dramatically.
It depends. If you're down by three, you have to, or you're down by four, you got to shoot the four. But if it's a different one, like you're down by three, you could use a decoy, like set the guy up there.
Mhm.
So that would be
Well,
kind of interesting.
I'm just thinking the 4 point line's presence is always going to be a threat, no matter what
Yeah,
point of the game it is. Like obviously,
yeah,
late in the game, you're down by four, you're probably going to set something up to shoot from the 4 point line. But I'm just saying throughout the entirety of the game, you could have guys positioned there that would, always be a threat, and that spreads out the floor so much that the big man now has room to play down low. Like, and I
yeah,
think that's part of the reason why you don't see a whole lot of big man ball anymore is because like it becomes really crowded
yeah.
down
It's
on the
not enough
block.
space. Yeah,
There isn't a whole lot of space.
yeah.
So move everybody back 5 feet.
You could
What do you
spread it
know?
open. Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah, I feel like
So
dude from The Hangover when he's going through all the equations in his head. See all the different possibilities flying through right now.
yeah, I
Because
mean,
I mean, technically, yeah, it'd be cool to see like some research, further on about because that could be a cool little wrinkle for the game. I mean, I feel like the game has changed so much, anyways, with rules. Like it's weird. Sometimes you feel like, do you like the old school, like 5-on-5 park game, which is still kind of the same shit that it was 10, 15 years ago,
mhm.
but the NBA games changed so much. Like, yeah, kids are still shooting and think they can shoot from anywhere, but as far as like the game is concerned, still the same kind of flow, you know. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool little. It is entertainment now, so you might as well. I mean,
Yeah.
but we're
I mean,
still
it's
not
always
fixing
been
refs, but
entertainment.
yeah, at the end of the day,
Yeah. I think I just like I've thought about this. I've thought about this a good amount, and I just think it would add an extra layer to this game that is already being exercised in the league now because you've got guys shooting from so deep
yeah,
simply for ego. And the addition of the line will not only massage that ego by actually hitting a 4 pointer, but will also create uh it will also create a need for defenses to come out on the floor more and spread it out for the big men down low, which is something that I think has been severely lacking in this game.
yeah.
So it's something I thought about, and I think it would be cool. Like I'm not on the phone with the commissioner at all and saying like,
You and
we
Silver,
should do this. Yeah,
yeah,
let's get all the NBA governors on the phone and say, hey, what do you guys think about a 4 point line? And obviously, I'm not doing that, but like, I just think it would be a cool little wrinkle to this whole thing
yeah.
that would be to everybody's benefit.
That'd be cool. It'll drive some coaches crazy though, because you're like, look here, damn it! I told you stop shooting threes. What the hell makes you think I want you to shoot a four? It's
God
only from
damn
this
it,
guy.
Cat!
Yeah,
Cat,
cat's
get
happy.
down low.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's a 4 point line.
And I'm like, look, buddy, you got to pass a series of tests and games for you can shoot out there, dude. You shoot out there, you're out. I'm subbing your ass for fucking a
Riding the
rapper, a
fucking
hot dog
pine.
rapper. Man, get out of here,
What
dude.
would you trade for? Cat, Gobert or a hot dog with lettuce.
Mm, that hot dog with lettuce is looking mighty disgusting, but I can add some barbecue. I might be good. I don't know, man. I think they need to move. If you, I mean, how much is? I got to look at the pay stuff. Like they're paying. Cat would be getting paid more than Gobert, but
Oh,
I don't want to
well.
get rid of all the bigs. You still have Nas Reed. I would definitely still want to keep it big, but if you moved Cat, you'd probably get more back for him.
Hmm.
Um, but you need a two. You need a two who can be a dog, dude. Somebody. I mean, catches. He has all this skill too, which is crazy, but he just, I don't know. That's the thing. It's like that's the eyeball test. That's the like you see with dudes, you know,
They're
really what happens when the shit's there and they're playing. And he could even shoot bad. And I would still be like, you know what? That dude played his ass off. He shot like shit, but at least he did everything else he could. But you don't
Mhm.
see that with him in particular and other guys too. You're like, man, you just shot like ass, and then there's nothing else in the game that you were trying to do or that you did that it just kind of took over the rest of your game, and it doesn't always have to do that. Like you're gonna shoot bad sometimes. It happens.
Okay, so I have some bad news for you in your effort to trade Carl Anthony Towns.
Oh, damn it. What's wrong?
He has a 4-year, $221 million contract
So you only could trade him for what, two other.
for another max,
Yeah.
for another max or an entire team, essentially.
What about
So, and that
Yoga?
contract's not expiring till 2028.
But I mean, somebody will take that off his talent. They think, somebody will.
Mm,
Some other fucking team who's been sitting in the cellar and they think they need to get seats for a few years and buy time because they're gonna be ass. They might do that.
this is the whole Bradley Beal, John Wall issue though. Like those guys were
But teams
they
never
got these
learn.
deals. Yeah, they don't. I mean, but it took forever to move those guys.
Yeah, true.
And like with John Wall, like he got dealt and dealt and dealt until like he was ultimately out of the league. And
Yeah,
then with Beal, like how long has he been in trade talks? Like
yeah,
fucking 6 years. And the only reason he didn't move is because he has that enormous contract that comes with
yeah,
him, and nobody really wanted to get that. So
yeah.
like, Cat's
Damn.
been there what, 10 years? How much? uh, how much of this 4-year contract is he actually going to be effective? Like with things going the way they are for him right now, being 0 for 8 from three tonight.
I mean, they'll always be competitive. You're gonna keep him, and you look at it like that. But I'm thinking championship or championship type, like as an organization, if you're trying to win the chip. Um, I mean, but I guess sometimes teams get like, they get stuck in that where they have this deal and they signed it and they're gonna ride with it. But I don't know, man. I don't. If he's the two, and you have Ant, who's on the precipice of he was one of the guys who was reaching at to take over the league and be that new young guy and be like, it's me. But to win a chip in the NBA, you got to have at least two dudes who are hoopers and who show up.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I feel like they were hoping Cat would be the best number two guy that they could get, especially considering the amount of money they paid for him. Um,
I mean,
but
yeah,
he's just not there, man. And he doesn't have a great basketball IQ. He's always making these stupid ass fouls like miles from the basket. It just it doesn't make any sense why he does that kind of shit. And then he'll like wave his hands Lucas style, like saying, "What do I do? Like, what do you think you did,
yeah,
knucklehead?"
yeah.
Like,
They're about to be on a
so
cruise picture. They're going fishing.
yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Gobert, 5 years, $205 million.
See,
Um,
and
he's a
Ant's
free
Ant's gonna
agent.
get Ant's gonna get fed up in another couple years and demand to be gone. I wouldn't be surprised if that should happen. They could,
He
because they have, dude, man.
he has a player option in 25, 26, and he's a free
Yeah,
agent, unrestricted free agent in 26, 27.
he'll be ghost. If they have those
Yeah, and
good dudes in there, they
he'll
can't
be
move
in
up.
his mid 30s by then.
Ant?
No, Gobert.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fuck, Gobert. No, I'm saying Ant. He's gonna be. I don't know. They'll end up losing him to keep those two because of the payroll situation. Because Ant's not gonna want to stay around if they can't build in the next couple years, and he has that option open, and he
Mhm.
sees the writing on the wall as far as the squad, and they can't move anybody. Bound.
Well,
Oh,
this brings up an interesting question. Um, what do you think Ann Edwards would do if they stuck with these guys?
you might give him another year, but after next year, if it was if they didn't get to the if they don't get to the finals in the next or to the, at least to the conference finals, like if they match what they did this year, it might buy you another year for next year. Because like, hey, we got to the conference finals 2 years in a row. We're gonna overcome this, but eventually you're gonna get to a point where it's like, dude, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? This is not working. It's obvious it's not working. And it sucks because you have in all sports, it's the window, right? It's like in the NFL, it's the rookie quarterback and not having to pay him and being able to pay everybody else and trying to get that 4 or 5 year window where you don't have to pay him to get a team, to win. And sometimes it's luck with that where you got to sign guys and then everybody's going to want to get paid. You know, McDaniels, those kind of guys in a couple years, Nas Reed, I don't know how long they're signed, but after that, they're going to want to get paid and they're
Yep.
going to get paid. There's going to be another team who's going to be like, dude, we'll pay you this. And they'll walk. And it's just you have a small window in professional sports. And it's like, I know it's not easy, but how do you maximize everything at once? And what do you gamble to get away, to trade, to move around? It's like, I know it's a crazy mystery, but I don't know. I kind of feel like Minis is on the wall. I don't see how. I don't see. I don't see Cat playing a little bit better, but I don't see him playing at the level where it's like that I thought that they could actually do after knocking off the champs. I was like, okay, that should give him that boost to the next level.
Yeah, you
And
would think that this would give them the confidence to say, okay, now that we beat the champs, we're going to take on Dallas and we're going to go at them even harder. Like
and they like plateaued.
they did.
Yeah,
In fact, they plateaued and took a couple notches down.
yeah, yeah. Like
And it's
crazy.
just disappointing to see, man. Like I expected so much more from Minnesota this round based off
So
of
did
the
I.
way they played Nikola Jokic
Yeah,
that, now you're going up against Luca and Kyrie, which obviously is a tall task, but
yeah,
like they're not like I wasn't thinking that they're going to be like enormously better than Joker and company.
yeah.
Like it just didn't make any sense to me.
And
Um,
man, they beat the snake. Like I don't know. I think that should have been enough to propel them to go to at least get the confidence of like, hey, you know, we're the team to beat. Why we just knocked off the champs on their home floor. That should I don't know in a run in a title run. All these teams have their own little stories going on and their own thing, and you're like, that's where I saw that. And I'm like, that could push them to keep moving, and then simultaneously Dallas has their own little story going on, and now you see where these two are flying around like peanut butter and jelly, and you're like, how's that? How are we gonna? These two are looking dangerous, and as now that let's say that they beat them in four, they sweep them, or even in five, Dallas's confidence has got to be like it's got to be untouchable, and I don't think Kid
well,
is gonna let them down. Like,
we said the same exact thing about Minnesota after they beat them.
yeah, what a letdown!
So yeah, it's a huge letdown.
What a
Huge
let.
letdown. I thought this series would be a little bit more competitive. Now, like to their credit, like Minnesota has had some runs like today in the third quarter. Like it looked like
Yeah, flash.
okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
make this a series, but Dallas ultimately like prevails in the end to where it's like okay, experience and wit and basketball IQ ended up being the
yeah,
factors that led them to the win, and Minnesota just doesn't have that. They have a stud in Anthony Edwards who hasn't had horrible games, but also hasn't had the best games in this series.
yeah.
You've got Cat being second fiddle, and he can't play a note on the damn fiddle.
Man,
And then you've got Gogurt, who's the defensive player of the year,
dude,
quote unquote, and gets shook up by every guard that ever comes at him. And mind you, he's a 7 footer. I get it, but like if you're the
why?
defensive player of the year, like you
He's got to
should
be
still
better
have some
too.
like, yeah, he no, he absolutely
He
does need
went
to
for
be
the
better.
like Luca was hunting the three. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't. If you let him press up on him, he goes around you. At least somebody else could come up and try to help out. But like he was hunting for the three. And the other thing was too is like I think it was McDaniels. He can't allow that. Even Draymond was talking about after the show. He's like he can't allow him to set that screen like that in that situation because once Gobert's out there, he's he's done. And he was like
Yeah.
he should have fought around that screen more because even if he would
But
have fought around and went, he's going for two. It's not the three. Oh
by the
man.
way, did you see the videos of Minnesota fans like just saying no, no, no when
Oh, when
Gobert
he
stepped
switched.
out to yeah, when he switched to
That ain't
onto
Anthony
Luca?
Davis, Minnesota fans. Anthony Davis could at least play the perimeter and
Yeah.
handles his on the, that's the one man. But we'll digress on AD.
Okay.
Yo,
Question.
answer.
Boston and Dallas. Probably most likely 99.8%
Yeah,
chance that they're going to be in the finals.
this is happening.
This is happening.
Yeah,
Who are we picking?
I'm picking Dallas. Um,
Oh,
I'm
so
picking
we're
Dallas.
gonna go. We're going to get the Kyrie villain arc of returning to Boston.
Yes, and that's good. He's gonna channel his inner Kobe. It's a wrap.
Oh
He's
boy.
it's gonna happen. And that's the other thing. Like he's dude, it's gonna that's gonna be intense. Um, because I think this team, I think the Dallas and with Jason Kidd, this isn't a team that is gonna get punked as far as like, oh, we're playing these talent. You know, a lot of guys. Your Boston's a great team and they're well put together. They're a good ran team, but again, I don't feel like they've passed the ultimate dog test either. And if I was
Yeah.
putting cash in, I'd rather put my money on Luca and Kyrie to be able to when it comes to push to shove that they're gonna more times than not in that series. I think that they're gonna come out on top. Brown is incredible. Tatum's incredible. Holiday's great. I like
I,
Holiday's decision making down in the. I mean, at the end more than I do sometimes of Tatum or Brown.
me too.
But but it's like it's gonna be hard for them to contain them, and the way that the Dallas is bought in. I mean, Al Horford's not going to be stopping these lobs.
No.
Um, Cornette's not stopping these lobs. Some of these other dudes, like Dallas, comes in and plays, and they play defense. So I think Dallas is just overall a little bit deeper. Again, maybe their top four aren't as strength, like the talent of the top four, the starting five is obviously towards Boston. But when I look at the whole team and what can go down, it's hard right now
Mhm.
not to put your money on Luca and Kyrie the way that they're playing, and they've seemingly unlocked their duo ship.
Their duo ship.
Yeah, that's a new word. Webster, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're referring to Webster's dictionary, not Webster, the character from the 70s, 80s TV show. I take it.
No, man, the dictionary, bro. Hey, Mando, will you alert this guy? I don't know what's going on. When
Sorry,
you
like
take
I
a break,
said, my
so
mind's
does
been other
Eric.
places today. All right.
Man.
Here I was wondering how you were going to react to that one. I was pleasantly surprised. Um, so Derek White and Drew Holiday guarding Luca and Kyrie. You think that's going to happen?
Um, yeah, probably, yeah, that probably
Yeah.
will be. Um, Yeah, nobody's holding. I mean, that's the thing with like the one-on-one. I feel like Kyrie and Luca, both of them in their own right, can get their own shot, and they'll get a decent shot. I mean, even against good defense, some of the shit that Kyrie does, you're like, how the fuck? I mean, the guy's all over him, and he still gets like a clean look. I don't know if you're going to be, and if he's in I mean, to be honest, if he's in the finals, it's full. It's probably going to be a different. We're going to see a different growth. Like, imagine Kyrie wins it and then winning on the Boston floor. Like, how full circle would that be as far as like his life? Everything is just came to this moment now. Like, that'd be some crazy shit too. So in that respect, kind of rooting for that and the Luca thing.
Yeah.
And I not always like again, Boston is they're a good team or whatever, but they just
Hmm.
don't excite me.
Um, yeah, I think I think Boston has some good pieces to put on Kyrie. And when I say good, I just mean like suitable.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think they're going to stop Kyrie. I don't think they're going to stop Luca. I think absolutely Kyrie's going to level it up to the point of, okay, I left this place. They even drove me to the airport and waved goodbye,
yeah,
and I'm going to make sure they pay for
yeah.
it. And Luca
Bag.
is just going to be Luca. He's
Yeah.
going to be doing his
Nothing's
thing,
gonna
getting
rattle.
his
Nothing rattles him. He's been doing.
nothing.
The dude was bred to play basketball.
Oh
His
yeah.
dad played pro in Slovenia. He was sitting there. Somebody I heard a quote was like, I either saw him with a peanut butter jelly sandwich or on the court. The only time I would see Luca, like the dude is, and he's not afraid. He was playing ball, what, 12, 13 years old. The kid's going through puberty. He's playing with fucking professionals. So when he came to
Yeah.
America, nothing, dude, this dude doesn't care about the athleticism. He doesn't care about what you were in college or high school. None of that bullshit matters. He's like, you're gonna have to play defense, and it's crazy because he's not the fastest dude, but he dictates pace because he uses his body and he puts you on his hip and he has his little step back, and you're like, but you're not. He's not quick, but he's 6'9" and can move. Like yeah, and the confidence too. The guy. It's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah.
And I mean, wow, that would be a gonna be a cool finals. I think it's gonna be a good finals.
Dallas in 7
I
or
think I think
6.
they could. I don't know. I think six. I think they could break. I think they could break the Celtics like they broke Mini. I think they really can. Like they have that ability where it's because the first two games were close, right? It was a four points total of discrepancy in points the first two games. Like, and it's crazy that we always like, oh man, this it's like you nitpick, but it's like, dude, they were still, even though Cat played like ass, they were still right there. But then when you see tonight's game, it was really like, oh, these are one of those things where, yeah, they're still close because we're in the NBA, but one team is far better than the other one. You could see it. And I feel like again, Boston just hasn't proved that they're like fully could overcome that last giant step to win a chip. And Kyrie's hungriness going back to Boston, Luca trying to finally win one here, like that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a
A
good
Luca
series though.
a Luca chip is something I'd like to see.
He's gonna
Um,
get he's gonna get a couple for sure. I
I
I,
think
don't- I
so.
don't I don't think there's any doubt. By the time he's done, he's gotta have a couple rings because it's just
Yeah.
the guy scores too much ease. He's kind of carved his own niche, and like dude can hoop, man. You get the right guys around him, he'll pass too. He'll shoot. I don't know. I think he's
I
gonna get a couple.
100% I 100% think our video editing software is going to generate our captions and make you say this dude can poop.
Well, great. Thanks a lot, computers.
Computer club.
You guys can't even quote me right. I want all my references quoted right, computer people. Whoever you are,
Honestly,
bacteria sister, cousin.
honestly, sometimes it's me doing it manually. So
Oh,
I might just do it.
oh, okay. Well, in that case, whatever, Eric. Taking that, I'm adding that onto my PTO hours.
Your vacation request has been denied.
Yeah, back to work.
Okay, real quick. Dallas or Boston owns the season series 2-0. And in fact, the last time they played was in March and Dallas whooped them by 28.
Was everybody there?
Or Boston whooped Dallas by 20.
Was everybody there? I
Uh
mean, dude, Boston, they're a great team, man, and they definitely have that ability. I think that where Dallas is right now, that's a different team you're messing with now. They've already,
yeah.
by this point, they're in the finals. And Boston has that experience too. They've been in the finals. They got Drew. Drew's won a chip. So it should be a good series. Of course, there's my side that just doesn't want to see Boston get to 18 first. So,
Of course, there's the
there's
Laker
always
fan in you.
that. Um, but they're a good team. But I don't know. I think the guard play, these dudes are slanging it.
Yeah. And by the way, Dallas had everybody. Kyrie only shot nine of 23 in that game. Luca
Yeah.
balled up though. He was 14 to 25 for 37 points.
Okay. Yeah, so he's gonna get his. I mean, Kyrie's not worried about that game.
Here's the biggest difference. Kristaps Porzingis was there. He had
Uh,
24 that night. 8 of 14 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep.
ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
50 from three.
And if this dude comes back
It depends.
and
Yeah.
yeah, if this dude comes back, it's going to be a far more competitive series, I think. If he's
Oh,
healthy, obviously.
yeah,
But again, and I've said this on the pod before, Porzingis is the X factor. If Boston has Porzingis playing well,
yeah, yeah,
Boston is really tough to beat no matter where they play.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And that's another unanswered. That's one of those unanswered questions we've had of Porzingis, and he's been balling though with Boston. So yeah, you're right. And how he comes back. I mean, is he coming back where he's close to, close to where he was at before? Is he going to feel limited? We don't know all these.
We don't
But
know.
yeah, that would be definitely tough with Porzingis playing 85% of what he was.
Even
Yeah,
at 85%, dude, like yeah,
yeah,
they're
they're going to be.
Boston's going to be really tough.
Yeah,
Um
that's going
okay.
to be interesting.
So you're picking Dallas. I too will pick Dallas.
Dallas and
I know this is a little bit premature because
yeah,
the
technically.
conference finals aren't over yet. I still think 99.8% chance Dallas and Boston make the finals.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Um, what do we think about the Caitlin Clark talk?
Man, there's so many different so many different angles and factors. There's internet club who are just,
Computer Club.
oh my gosh, these people are just the hate group. She's either superwoman or she's ass, and their takes are. There's a couple groups that basketball groups on Facebook or here and there, and you see what some of these dudes post, and you're like, you really must be knowing that you have 3 to 4 hours at the house where you ain't doing shit, and you just want to see what sticks to a wall. Those people are always interesting. Um, but then there's the Charles Barkley, LeBron talking about like, hey,
I didn't catch what LeBron said. What did LeBron say?
LeBron was like basically like he's kind of walked in those same footsteps and a lot of pressure on her, which granted, there's a lot of she didn't pick this shit. She just likes to play, and all this
Mhm.
extra pressure on her. And he's like, just kind of like, let her go, let her be, let her do her thing. Let's
Yeah.
not harass her. And because she's such a big name, there's always the people who just want to talk shit and get a rise out of you. So he's kind of like, hey, leave them alone. And then Charles came on and he directed it more towards at women, like you should be supporting her and doing whatever, da da da. And I think his point came from the Ashley Reese quote. She's like, and there's one getting a win in a crowded arena, in a packed arena, not just because of one player on the charter flight. And you're like if Chuck is hearing that, and I know he speaks just generality, so it's like if you hear that, you're like, why would you guys? Why like she's helping everybody's revenue at the end of the day. She's coming over with her backpack of eyeballs that is like overflowing. She's bringing a new audience, and the W last year had their highest rating numbers. They were growing. They've been growing. And now this year, these rookies who are coming in, obviously Caitlin's leading that. And what she's bringing, everybody's going to get paid. This is helping the overall brand. And you get that part too, where you're like, you know, look, she's getting a huge load, but there's a lot of slices falling off, and people are going to eat. So then there's the L Duncan of ESPN, and she went off on Charles about the women, and we're supporting her. Women support her. Talk about the weirdos on Twitter and this and that cesspool. Um, but like, yeah, you don't want anybody kissing anybody's ass. Of course, you're in a competitive sport. You want to put your best foot forward. But the subliminal shots is just ridiculous. Like that's the
Yeah.
part where I'm like, dude, she obviously is showing that she can hoop. She's not a bust. She's gonna be in the conversation. Give her time. Like you could see, it's been 6 games. She's on an ass team. She's learning the system, and she's also a target. Let's not like that's the other part LeBron was kind of alluding to. Is like I was a target when I came out into the league too.
Yeah.
It's like Oh, you're the big guy? Okay, let me fucking guard your ass. I'll show you something. Let me score on you and look at you funny, you know? And that's gonna happen. I think that's part of the game. Like Caitlin's gonna receive that from players who are maybe are bitter, but it's the public shit. Like, be a professional. Like, we don't need these public shots. Like, she's literally here and trying. She wants people to have, or the opportunity to be able to have a private flight or charter flights or whatever the shit is. But yeah, it's just crazy that it's always extremes. It's black or the white, and there's so much in between. It's like, yes, you shouldn't just kiss her ass, but at the same time, like, don't
Absolutely
bite
not.
the hand that feeds you. It's right there. Like,
Yeah.
you
My
know,
my thing is this. And that Angel Reese tweet was like the perfect example of what the problem is. Like Caitlin Clark gets on a commercial flight. Everybody is like, why the fuck aren't WNBA players taking charter flights? Next thing you know, they're on charter flights. Okay, great. But then there's just like shade thrown at her from other players
yeah,
out of nowhere.
yeah,
Like out of nowhere. Angel Reese's tweet about like we got a W in Chicago and it wasn't about one player on a chartered flight. Like, what is the point of that?
yeah,
What is the point of that other than to be petty? You know,
yeah,
that's some that's like another level above like the Diana Taurasi shit that we were talking about a few episodes ago.
yeah,
Like people are taking unsolicited shots at her is what the issue is from my perspective. Like I don't give a damn like if you don't like her, like you're probably going to talk shit about her when, you know, like it comes to game day and like you're going to get in her face. That's basketball. That's being competitive. Like
yeah,
that's cool. That's what we
yeah,
sign up for. But all these fucking stupid little like indirect tweets is
yeah,
just like a level of petty that's so like immature and stupid that
yeah,
it makes them look immature and fucking stupid.
yeah.
Like
I don't mind
you just you just sound jealous. That's it. Like that's it.
yeah. I think Tarasi in the beginning of the quote was like, "There's an adjustment, there's a change." Yes, she's gonna have to adjust to that. But then when she kind of like, it was the tone of the, well, you're not playing against 18-year-olds and that part was where it
Yeah.
started to get a little like, okay, like, yes, of course there's gonna be a curve for everybody. You're moving up
Yeah.
levels of basketball, but it was like that little thing is the little shit where you're like, you could have said your piece and it made sense in the beginning, but then when you kind of veered off there is where I was like, oh, a little jealousy in the air. And
Yeah. And that's
Caitlin's
and
not
that's the
even like
thing.
crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, like you said your piece about her, but you want to take it to another level and just make you sound jealous. And like by no means, like to what Elle was saying, by no means are people expecting her to or are people expecting these players to kiss her ass. They shouldn't kiss her ass.
No, yeah,
They shouldn't. I
no,
mean, yeah, it's great that like her presence has brought eyeballs and like
yeah,
the charter flights and all these things and like Staple like the Sparks were finally back in Staples Center and it was a
yeah,
19,000 person crowd. That's all great. But
yeah.
they're not expected to like, "Oh, thank you, Goddess Caitlin
No, yeah,
Clark." Like
yeah.
no, they're not supposed to do that. Nobody's expecting them to do
Respect.
that.
That's it. It's just
Yeah.
show respect.
Yeah, like, but you just
That's
want to
it.
take petty shots at her. That's the problem. That's
Yeah,
what makes you look bad. Like,
yeah,
fucking, if you got a problem with her, then get on the court and hoop against her, and then people will start saying some
yeah,
shit differently. This all these little unsolicited shots that they take at her. That's
yeah,
what the issue is. And I'm just fucking tired of hearing that petty bullshit.
yeah. Get your licks in now while she's not on a great team, because once this, couple
Yeah,
years
once
go
they
by,
build
she's
around her,
adjusted. Yeah, then it's once wait till she gets comfortable and she has a nice team around her. It's gonna be so it's like that. Go ahead, get your licks in now, get your nice extra little looks, your extra whatever. Because I think she's got that mentality where she's like, "Don't worry, this isn't this is page one of a long ass novel, so
yeah, it
good
is.
to go."
It's going to take some time for the Fever to build themselves into a competitor.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Caitlin Clark's only averaging like 15
Six,
a game, and she's
like
kind of
15,
turnover
6,
prone.
and 5 or something. And that's the
Yeah,
other
something like
part
that.
too. Like, you got to think of it. You're on a shitty team and you're a big name. Man,
Yeah.
you're big game hunting at this point. You got the biggest target on your ponytail. Are you kidding me? And
Hmm.
she's, I mean, that's part of, like you said, it's part of the game, and that's what comes with it. And I don't think she's shying away from none of that. It's just all the extra little non. Of course, it's more of this, what can I say for some clout? Or people are just insecure
Yeah.
and they just be talking shit. Because
Yeah.
you could tell her that you can give advice and say, like, hey, this is what it's gonna be like, but just I don't know. You think people can tell when there's a dose of like, was that condescending? Was that like a backhanded compliment? What the fuck was that? Like you could
Yeah.
feel it. And that's the thing where you hate. And I guess that's what it is now. Everything, there's no context in social media. Everything is there's no two truths. It's like it's
Mhm.
either completely one way or completely the other. And you're like, there's so much context within here. Like, don't just disregard like, oh, she's ass. Okay, but she's that's an
No,
opinion, but like she's
she
still bringing money in. Like that's a fact. There's revenue coming in from, so you want to monetize that and capitalize that if you're a league. Like, of course, let's do that. I want to have leather chairs and nice buses and better food at, all that shit. I want to have revenue from jerseys that we're selling and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, dude, what's the collective over individual? That's another one of my
yeah. My
soapboxes.
my thing with Clark right now is just the fact that I don't think she takes care of the ball very well. She averages almost 5 turnovers a game by
Yeah.
herself. And
Yeah.
that's a lot considering you're a guard. You're probably distributing the ball a good amount. She's getting like 7 dimes a game, but like
Yeah.
5 turnovers a game to 7 dimes is
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of like not a
Yeah.
great ratio,
No,
whether
yeah.
you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
But I think that will, the more years she is in the league, the better she's going to be at taking care of the ball and the more confidence she's going to have. I mean, she
Oh,
has all the confidence in the world right now, but like obviously
yeah.
she's really young in comparison. So she will get better at taking care of the ball and the turnovers per game will go down.
Yeah.
But like people are just waiting, like especially her colleagues, they're all waiting and hoping that she fails.
Yeah.
And
That's gonna fuel
instead
her.
of waiting and hoping, they should get in her face and and try to ball through her in order to
Yeah.
put her. Like
That's it. You should.
that's the
That's
thing.
it. As a player, you want to build your own name as for yourself. And if I'm in a league and there's a television on, for me, I'm going to get more respect out of my game if I lock up, play D, knock down shots. If I play well against whoever I'm going against, you play against another guy who's top five guy in the league, top one guy, whatever the situation is, you're trying to go for your own. That's the competitive part. Is like, hey, I could hoop too. I'm here too. You know,
Mhm.
and people just that's okay. You need that, and trash talking is okay too. But it's just in the public aspect of it, just trying to get clout. Say something cute. Wish somebody. Oh, why don't they recognize me? Like, come on, man. People get slept on all the time, and
Yeah.
it sucks. But like, hey, look at what's the two sexy bastards right here getting slept on. Word doesn't stop us, buddy. It's coming out, and then eventually,
Stashes, Stashes and Glasses is going to be the #1 podcast in the world, baby. You heard it here first.
hey,
Don't
it could
sleep.
don't sleep. It could be
Or
top
as
10, 25. I'm not mad. I don't know. We don't need to be greedy, but we
top
just need our
35,000,
sponsorship.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we need our sponsorships. Wear a little,
Yeah.
put it on the hat, do something.
Yeah. Just, if Wu Tang wants to sponsor us,
Dude,
we're available.
we are available. I met Old Dirty one time. It was fucking awesome time.
Oh, my
Oh my
goodness.
God. It was
You
awesome.
must have been super young because he died in 2004
I did. I was at Oakwood Apartments back in the day, like probably
in
15.
Burbank.
Yeah, 15, 16 on the way to Hollywood. Yeah, we used
Yeah.
to, dude, let me tell you something, E. That place was the, I'm trying to come up with a cool, like, it was like the Bat Cave for us in high school. Ryan had an apartment, had the key. First of all, this
Ryan
is
had an
before,
apartment at 18, 19 years old.
no, his dad. So we
Oh, his dad.
had the key to get in. And there was a time where you could put your Burroughs ID inside there and the gate opened up. It was so janky at one point. Um, but we were able to go there, use the basketball courts, go to the jacuzzi, swim, um, other stuff that probably wasn't technically legal, what wasn't hurting anybody. So
Yeah.
don't worry. And sure enough, one day we used to hoop up there all the time when things were closed, and
Hmm.
they had a weight room. Dude, it was awesome. And we didn't tell. we were smooth about it. We kept it kind of low for a while, but
Well,
lo and
how
behold,
did you make ODB there?
because a lot of celebrities actually like lived in those apartment buildings. So like he was there. Wu-Tang had like they had a room, they had a little apartment that, randomly when the guys are there, it's like, hey, this is the apartment, you guys go hang out and do whatever.
Okay.
Christina Milian when we were young was there. All kind of like little Disney
Ooh.
kids, like random people were there. And sure enough, ODB, and we thought it was Method Man at first, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Method Man!" And we got there, he was like, "Nah, this is ODB." Dude, his quote.
How did you confuse ODB
Oh,
and
because he
Method
was no,
Man?
because we were on the first floor and they were down there, and somebody was like, somebody, of course, we're a little kid, you hear Wu-Tang, and somebody was like, "It's Method Man," because they were an idiot and they didn't know who any of Method. They just were going with what was said, and he was giving out little lollipops, these Choompa Loomp lollipops, random, and we got him, and he's like, "Man, the only thing I'm good for is performing on this stage and fucking these hoes." I was like, "You do that, oh dirty, you the man." Just don't put your boogers on my wall. But yeah, it was pretty dope.
He got burnt by gonorrhea 2 times.
Old Dirty was, dude,
Dirty.
talk about be yourself. Like that dude was genuinely himself. Nothing changed
Yeah.
him.
I remember when he was on 106 in Park. He
Oh, when they asked about what you're doing with the community?
yeah, like they're asking Praz and
Yeah.
whoever else was there. Like,
Fuji.
you guys like question was long. Like, I appreciate you giving back to the community. Like ODB, what are you doing for the community? Nothing.
Yeah. He was like, man, I'm still looking for them to do something for me.
That
Man of the
was
people, old
great.
dirty bastard.
Absolutely. All right, Watts, we got to get out of here, man. Anything you want to plug? Anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah. So my brother, he's graduate. This is the basketball shirt he got me from the Air Force Academy, but he doesn't play
Oh,
basketball.
nice.
Um, but he goes there. Going on Tuesday, graduates and is going to flight school. So pretty excited that
Wow.
he's literally living like this guy's wanted to do this his whole life. So like I told him, I was like, dude, you understand like you're living your dream? This is out of control. You're living what you wanted to do as a kid. I was like, bro, fucking congratulations, man. So
Yeah, man.
that's gonna be cool to go witness that. It's in Colorado, out of Denver, so that'll be cool.
Hmm.
And then of course, cottonbureau.com, Justin Waters, the government. I haven't got them to put my cool nicknames as the go-to, so put in my government. And yeah, that's it.
All
Thank you
right.
for tomorrow, everybody who's ever served or done anything to help the armed forces, even if you volunteered one day and threw out shirts, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So I have a friend that he and I were in the Marines. He was in first, and I went in later. Um,
I didn't know you were in the Marines.
he, yeah, yeah, many moons ago.
Oh,
Um, but his name was Crosby, and hung out with him for a time after boot camp, and um he was a cool kid, from Texas, really down to earth, like really quiet, but just like cool to hang out with and have drinks. We'd get super fucking drunk. Our other buddy Bo we'd all hang at his house. Um Years later, Bo got a phone call from Crosby's mom informing him that Crosby died in Afghanistan.
yeah.
And that is something I am reminded of every Memorial Day because I was I was discharged from the Marines prematurely. I didn't get to finish out my tour, and I think had things kept going, like I definitely would have been shipped over to Afghanistan or the Middle East or one of those spots, and I could have been Crosby.
Yeah.
And I think of that shit every fucking year on Memorial Day. So
Hell yeah.
I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Crosby. Drinks
Yeah.
on drinks on me as they are every year, Cross.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, this episode is dedicated to him. Remember
Nice.
Memorial Day, honoring those who've fallen.
Probably Pete Crosby, man. Dang.
R.I.P.
Just to think
But
too, that young, in like
oh, dude, yeah,
a war environment is always
We were 18, 19 years old, man.
It's crazy, dude, to think
It's
like,
wild.
yeah, man.
But not to finish on a bummer, but he was a cool dude. I appreciate the time I knew him. And now I get to live life and talk about hoops with you. And I appreciate you, Jay, for coming on again
Yeah.
to do our thing on the
Yeah.
Stashes and Glasses podcast. Oh, by the way, I changed all the social handles from For Meme Not You to Stashes and Glasses Pod or Stash Glass Pod, something in those
Yeah.
lines. So be sure to search Stashes and Glasses podcast wherever you take in your socials. This podcast is available on Spotify, uh, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It's always also going to be available on YouTube for your viewing pleasure because our beautiful mugs are worthy of your consumption.
Yeah, and we do museum type artwork with cool shit in the back, baby.
Yeah, and then a
Yeah,
Patrick
man.
Ewing jersey
Yeah,
because
a
that's
lot of
artsy
royal
too.
blue up there.
There
But we're
really
all
is.
I'm all royal blued out today too. This is like the color
Yeah,
of the day.
it really is.
Well,
It really is.
go look
All
at
right,
us.
Watts.
Great minds think alike, even on our fashion.
All right, brother. Thanks for being on the pod again.
Thank you, sir.